Obviously, going into the game, would have wanted a win, but from where that could have been, what that could have ended up, that ended up been, 10 men equalised late on.
Yeah, Delit redeemed himself there. He redeemed
Still
himself.
Unbeaten. There. Well, that's what now, unbeaten in 5 or something it is. 3 wins, 2 draws. It's not ideal, obviously.
Owen, we could have come away with 0 points. It's a point. I'll take it.
It's a bit
points on the board, mate.
It's a bit of, you know what I mean? A bit of like going into the international break. That's what I was thinking as well. Going into this international break, oh my God, it's going to be so negative. Going, and obviously with the subs and the 10 men and this and that. I'll take it. Get out of there with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is when I would go, look, and I've been someone, you know me, DJ, and I know you have as well, but I know someone, myself, that I've been very critical of Ruben Amorim this season, and I'm talking about what getting results and points on the board, getting results and points on points on the board.
That's what matters.
That could have gone completely to shit, right? But we get out of there, and also we got to have a look at ourselves, man. Some of you people in the chat straight away, doom and gloom. Let's let the match play out. I've learnt that myself. Of going, you know what? Maybe let's not be too quick. Let's not be too quick to go completely scorched earth. Let it play out. There is a long season ahead, And this, by the way, this is us this season. This is us. Mm-hmm. We are going to be up and down. We said coming into the match, we can't control a game. Yeah, we cannot control a football match. Even if we're 1-0 up, if we're 3-0 up, it doesn't matter. We cannot control a game. This is going to keep happening. Yeah, this is going to keep happening. What we got to do is keep points to the board. All I've asked for is that we're in and around it in terms of the European spots, which is where we are now. We're still what? We're 7th in the league. That Spurs are 3rd. Should have won the game. Should have won the game. Should have been dead and buried earlier on, but. You know, this is going to be it this season for us. It's going to be up and down. Going to be you win some, draw some, lose some. You know what I mean? We just got to. I think we've got to. I'm going to anyway. Just be like, try and not be too up, too down. You know what I mean? That's what it's got to be.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the game was a terrible game of football.
It was a shocking game of football.
Just in terms of quality, I think. In the moments where we should have been able to sort of like dominate them, we just didn't. We just literally didn't. I think Amorim subs were spot on. I think he changed the plays that needed to come off. Obviously, the Sesko injury is a freak one. You don't expect that to happen. But one thing I've just seen there, and I was pissed when Mateus Tel's goal's gone in, because I'm thinking he's pinned the lit. All right, cool. You want Shaw kind of shoulder to shoulder to push over the lit to block the shot. And he doesn't. He just watches. He ball watches it, and they score. And one thing I saw from us is we didn't stop playing. We went right back up the other end, and Bumo gets the corner, right? And we made it happen. And that is, I think, something where we're still in our evolution, where we need to be able to dominate and close out games and make it comfortable as can be, because nothing's given in the Premier League. But what I did see was a response. And that's what you want from your players. You know, we responded. 10 men down, right at the death. Sonny Larmans goes up there. Delit goes up there. And what a game Delit has had. He could have done better for Mateus Tel's goal, but before that, he was brilliant. So we'll take a point. It's points on the board. We weren't even getting points last time. We were losing. Well,
this is when I'll go to, like, you know, last season, and for the last 18 months, we'd have collapsed and not come back. You know what I mean? We would have collapsed and not come back. And we collapsed today, and absolutely need to address the fact that we keep collapsing and we can't keep control of the game. But again, this is what we know. But we still managed to show some resilience and get out of there with something, you know. And I think that goes to show something. And obviously, and this is what I would say to those that are upset and angry. Of course we want to win the game. Of course when you go 1-0 up, you want to manage to hold on to it. Of course that's what we want. Yeah. And of course there'll be once again scrutiny of, were they the right subs, or in an ideal world, do you save one sub because just in case you get an injury and this, that and the other? Of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a long season ahead. Like I just think we've got to stop being so reactive to every time there's an instant in the game. We're like, this is why the coach has got to go. This is why this player will never succeed. And 5 minutes later, It's like, well, that player we said was shit has gone and scored a goal, or that the coach that we're slagging off now, whatever. We went and got an equaliser. You know what I mean? I think it's just today is another really good example. If you take a step back, I don't know if we look at the game today, we'll go, we should have won. But if you take a step back, and if you'd have said coming into this after the last international break, I'll give you 3 wins and 2 draws. I'd have taken that. Like I would have taken that. I'd have looked at the table and gone, in an ideal world, we could have been up to second today. We're a point off second still. You know what I mean? Yes, 2-point drops, obviously, because you want to win every game. But in the grand scheme of things, are still involved. You still just got to be involved. Teams are going to be dropping points this season. I think you just got to, and I've learned this, I just got to just try and stay the course. You know, the positives you can take out today is even if we played shit, we got something out of the game. Should have got more out of it, but we got we got something out of the game. This is why also we had in a fucking title charge. So for all of those, like a couple of weeks ago, saying this is why you need to apologise to Ruben Amorim. Yeah. No, you don't. You don't have to. You have to apologise because there's nothing to say sorry for. It's just an understanding. It's just an understanding of this is what we're going to do this season. It's going to be ups. It's going to be down. There's going to be games where we thought we were in control that we should win, that we end up scraping a point out of. Yeah. But that's what we've got to do, and you got and it's till the end. United, you can't die till the end. You know what I mean? Right until the death.
And here's the 10 thing.
Men. 10 men, you've collapsed. The game's been turned on its head. It's gone against you, but you still got something out of the game, and that's what we got to do. You got to do it.
Yeah, I'm looking in the comments. I see United Yard TV saying, "Did this dickhead say the subs were spot on?" Yeah, I did say the subs were spot on because the players need to come off. We can't play players. Some players, they can't do the full 90 sometimes. They just can't, especially when the game's going a certain way. So Cunha did need to come off. He was looking leggy. He was looking tired. He couldn't keep up. Bring him off. Mount was the right substitution at the time. Casemiro, he was slowing down. It was 75th minute or whatever it was. He was slowing right down. Couldn't get at the midfield now. And we know Cass has probably got about 60 an hour in him, usually in a game. What do you want Ruben to do? Keep players on. Now, their levels are dropping. The fitness is dropping, obviously, in this game, right? Tottenham are starting to build. Keep players on. And then we're going to just still say, Ruben should have made subs. He has a squad of players that he can choose from and use. When players are slowing down, Cunha wasn't great today, was he? Not that I remember. He wasn't great. So he had to come off the pitch. Bruno obviously gets an allowance because we don't really have great central midfielders at the moment at the club. Cobbies didn't even travel today. So, I stand by my decision. I think his subs were great. Euro on for Maguire injury. What are you talking about, mate? Come on. We're probably not watching the same football match.
And also as well, I feel like, there's obviously stuff like, there's stuff about like Sheshko, like in the chat, you know what I mean? It's mad. Sheshko faked his injury, or Sheshko, get rid of him. Again, again, these are new signings. Again, going back to learning about stuff, this time last season with Joshua Zirkzee, we crucified him. Crucified. Do you remember that? KG, I'm faster than him. He gets hooked off after 30 minutes going down the tunnel. Xerxes, early days, you know what I mean? Early days. Like centre circle, I'm done with Sheshko. What? Because Mr. Chanson got injured. Because he got injured. You know what I mean? If all right, as a suggestion, maybe he should have stayed on the pitch. Is that what it is? You know what I mean? It's and now, but bear in mind, this is the same Joshua Zirkzee that people are now clamouring. Why isn't Zirkzee getting minutes on the pitch? Why is Zirkzee not getting moments on the pitch? A year ago, he's shocking. He's shit. I'm done with him. He's got to go. So this is where it's got to be like. Again, I know we're angry and disappointed that we dropped 2 points today and we only got a point out of it, but these things are really easy to say in hindsight as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. Amorim, you made 5 subs there, and look, you're down to 10 men. Do you think Ruben Amorim knew I'm gonna put Benjamin Sheshko on the pitch and he's gonna get injured, and then we're gonna be down to 10 men for the last 3 minutes? Of course not. Yeah. Of course you don't think that when you bring a player.
And it's insanity. They're saying, they're saying, he's faked the injury. Like, guys, come on. If we're gonna talk football, let's talk properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's not do that. Yeah, young striker, young player. Yeah, he had some chances on goal where he should have scored. But when you haven't scored in a couple of games, 3-4 games, whatever it is, you're gonna be a bit slow. Yeah, and he's coming into this game today. Tottenham, they weren't that great. And I think Sesko could have done better, but to write him off completely, I think it's absolutely insane. I think that's so insane.
And there's one thing you can't say about that team today is obviously we can criticize them about quality and this, that, and the other, but I can't criticize them for faking anything or not showing fight. They're down to 10 men and they've equalized. That game was done. That game was over. You know what I mean? That game was we've done it again. We've collapsed. We're not going to come back. But we did. You know what I mean? We did. So, let me get the super chats. There's loads of super chats here. Shyam says this match is too early in the weekend for me. There's still 2 days pending and then a long break before I see United again. Can't lose. C1 Chaos says the halftime United second has now become a curse. David G says back to life, back to reality. We always concede. Janice with the contribution. Appreciate that. Eminem has been a member for 17 months. Says shit game to be honest. I'm still baffled by Amorim's squad rotations. It's incredibly poor. Could have put in Xerxes and Cunha rotated. Delict winner. Dan says can we start to be honest? Šeško isn't good enough as of yet. Seems like all we do is make excuses for him. If it was Rasmus, everyone would be moaning. Janice then also says the manager in-game management is poor. I'm not saying he is bad, but I think the job is big for him. His inexperience shows game by game. And Janice also says Mr. Cap, I guess that's you, DJ, was the 3 subs at the time necessary?
Yes, they fucking were. Again?
Yeah. I think they were.
Yes, they fucking was. Excuse the swearing, but yes, they were. If you're watching the same game as we've been watching, I watched Cunha for about 10, 15 minutes. He was knackered. He had to come off. So you bring him on for what, Mount, right?
Yeah, no,
nothing wrong with that.
The Maguire one was an injury. Maguire pulled his hamstring. He pulled his hamstring. That's the other part of it as well. One of the subs was an injury. One of the subs was an injury as well. Like what are we doing? Like the Cunha one. Cunha, by the way, as well. We're criticizing Cunha, going, he's holding on to the ball too much, man. He's holding on to the ball too much. He's dilly-dallying on the ball. Get Cunha off. Dorgu, the Dallo one, Dorgu, we're going, Dorgu, look at him. He's really, every time he's running the ball, he's giving the ball away. So those subs, they were there. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. So I just don't get what anyone's trying to say. This isn't like preview, and this is what I'm saying. You have to go game by game and treat them as individual games, because they are, right? We're looking at this individual game. I think the subs were spot on. I think the timing when he made them was spot on. I think we needed a revamp of energy. A lot of the energy levels were falling. Bring on fresh players. The players he brought on, I think were decent. The Ugarte for Cass slows down after 60, 65 minutes. He even gave him an extra 10 minutes to play. Yeah. And then he took him off.
And as Akeem says there, Dorgu was on a yellow as well. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I get the outrage and I get that. And I've been critical of Ruben Amorim, right? I've been critical of Ruben Amorim, but I can't just because, I've got reservations, just ignore the truth. Like, the truth is, Maguire was injured. Like you said, Cunha, we were criticising him going, he's holding on to the ball too much. Dorgu, he's on a booking, and as we saw in that game, anything can happen with Dorgu at any point, right? What did we say, Maguire? Injured. What was the other one about bringing Šeško on? Like they were, I can't, you know what I mean? I can't necessarily sort of fault those subs because at the time they were right, and you don't expect your striker that comes on to get injured as well and come off, So I don't know. I'm just a bit like, are we criticising because we want to criticise, or? Are we just, or do we genuinely feel that? We've got some more super chats here. Reg Shane says Šeško fluffed 2 opportunities today. Never criticised Xerxes, but he is better in one-on-one battles with better hold-up play. We deserved more. John says Owen, Šeško even before he went off, and nothing to do with the missed chance. He was very lazy, bad touches, even the goal. It started with him. Creflon Don says 2 points dropped to a very poor Spurs team, coupled with bad subs. Mount offers nothing to the team. Ugarte was not needed. I don't know. I'd still disagree with that one. A lot of these guys are in Amorim's head apparently, because he's the manager and he's looking at his team like SB United says, member for 20 months, says, as soon as Maguire comes off, we're screwed. We need a centre-back. And Fraser D says, again, we capitulate after Casemiro comes off. And that I do agree with, in the sense of, this is why I said this is going to be a problem for us this season, because we can't fix it, can't we? The problem is Casemiro is struggling to play 90 minutes, but also... We have to take him off, but also we don't have that person, because he's our best midfielder, as we've been saying. He is our best midfielder, but we have to take him off after 70 odd minutes because his legs start to go, and we don't have a ready-made replacement, so we lose control of the game, and we barely have control of the game anyway. That's the problem. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
And the thing is, I've been very critical of Amorim all season. But when I see things like this, I think the subs were just. I think bringing on Benjamin Sesko isn't a bad thing. Bringing on Mason Mount isn't a bad thing. He was having good games before he got injured, or the knock, or whatever he got. Do you know what I mean? We had to bring on Euro because of the injury to Maguire. Yeah, Casemiro slows down, as you said. Someone mentioned, oh, why can't you play 80, 85? Okay, oh, sorry, 10 minutes more, I guess. What's 10 minutes? Like, at the end of the day, Cas had to come off at that point because they were lagging energy, they were slow, and Tottenham were building on the ascendancy. It was the right thing to do. Like, you can't just carry on. Like, football isn't just about the 11 guys. And I get the level of quality maybe drops off. It definitely does. And I think we're all in agreement. That's one thing we can agree with. The level of quality drops off, but we can't run players into the ground. Yeah, it's one game a week. But in this game of football, they were lagging. So you had to make the substitutions. And I'll stand on that.
Lanny says, could be 11th or below by the end of the weekend. Yeah, but then also at the same time, this is when I say, Lanny, but then we could come back from the international break, win our game, and then be up to like 3rd or 4th in the league again. Again, this is why I'm not going down this road that I went down previously, is because I've seen it. I've seen that the table change really fast. I've seen, 1 or 2 results change everything already. So this is why. Again, I don't know what it is. DJ man, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of, depending on what the result is, one end of the spectrum just goes fucking insane at each other. You know what I mean? It's too much. It's just too much, guys. It's too much. You know what I mean? For the last 3 or 4 weeks, you've had a group of people going around pumping their chest, telling people, like, you need to apologise, this, that, and the other. And you go, guys, but when we lose a game, like, what are we gonna? And then now we haven't even lost, by the way. We've drawn today. We've got a point, and now it's this. You need to do this, and you sort of go, this is why it's like, guys. You know what I mean? There is a long season ahead. The table is flipping around based on one result. Where, we win, we're up to 2nd, we get a point, and and we're in 7th. Look at that swing. I think it was Villa. They're 11th. They're like 2 points off it. So that by itself should show that we can't get hyper focused on one result on one game, because the next week it could be totally different. Yeah. That's where I do agree. We're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to build anything if every week we went scorched earth. We're not. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're not.
Yeah, and I think someone said in the chat, they were like, our draw's acceptable now. Bro, I'd rather have a draw than 0 points. Simple as that. We want to win the game. We was ahead. We scored for the 2nd week continuously. We've been ahead in the game past half time. And then what happens is we capitulate a little bit, and then we have to bring it out the mud again to get something out of the game. At the end of the day, before we went on this little run, we wasn't getting any points on the board. We wasn't getting anything. So I would rather always come out with, not always, but come out of a draw if within the added time, 96th minute. Do you know what I mean? I would rather always rescue something out of the game than go home with 0 points.
Yeah, and again, don't mistake that from being like, oh, so you didn't want to win. Of course.
Of course we wanted to win.
Of course we want to win. Of course we want to win. Like Omar says here, if we continue like this, we'll finish 12th. If we continue through this season, by the way, Omar, winning 3, then drawing 2. First of all, we won't lose the game this season. Secondly, if we continue to have form where we win 3 in a row, then draw 2 in a row, then win 3 in a row, we'd be doing all right come the end of the season. It mustn't be forgotten here. We have not lost today. We have not lost. In that, since the last international break, we have not lost a game. You know, we've won 3, drawn 2. You know, if you can keep up that kind of form, then you will be doing all right. When the season comes to a close, you will be in and around those European spots. There will be games like today that will go, fuck it, we should have won today. That's really shit. Yeah. We capitulated. There'll be games, by the way, where we lose, where we won't score that late goal. But if we're winning more often and also salvaging points more often, then we'll be all right. I'm pissed off. Obviously, we didn't win. I'm furious we didn't win because we should have won that game. We should have killed it off. Spurs are shit. Spurs are rubbish. We saw it in the game. But at the same time, it's another one where it's not season defining today. It's not. Yeah. Get out of there with a point. Thought it was going to be nothing for a few seconds there. And, you know, if you're going to go standards, standards on the floor, you're drawing Spurs. We haven't fucking beat Spurs in like ages. Like, how was it? 4 years? 3 years or something like that? Ridiculous. It's 2022. Last time we won at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was 2021. Yeah? That's what was, again, we need to, you go, our standards on the floor. We finished 15th last season. Standards were on the floor a long time ago. It is 2025. So Alex Ferguson is not our manager anymore. You know, we haven't got Ronaldo, Rooney, and this, that, and the other. We don't. We need to live in reality. We do. You have to live in reality. So that's where I'm just like, again, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take it. I don't like it, but I'll take it.
Yeah, take that over going back into the international break with 0 points. Like, no, I'll take a point. I will take a point, mate. Next, on to the next. Just on to the next, man. On to the next.
Dwayne says, what I've always wanted was a draw or two, get a point and go home simple. Prime Premier League stuff. 3 wins, 2 draws in 5 is no owl. It's an effing miracle. That's where I'm at. I take a step back and look at these games post-international break, and I've gone, if you said to me 3 wins and a draw and 2 draws, I'll have it. You know what I mean? I'll have it. Pedro says Amorim subs are costing us. Nachika says these players don't look like they had a week off. And Mr. Darkside says we must remain humble no matter what. The Šeško injury may be a good chance for Xerxes. If Ruben's looking for a false 9, Cunha, why not Xerxes? I think he says to me, I really think that Xerxes is going to be gone in January. It's a bit similar to the Cobby situation. He's not getting minutes.
Yeah. And the thing is, I actually like Joshua Xerxes. I always wanted to see how he kind of linked up with Cunha and like Mbeumo, because his link up play is probably one of his best assets. But for whatever reason, the manager just doesn't rate him. But we'll see. It could be, and this could be something to Ruben, which is like, look, you haven't got any recognised strikers in the squad. You can play Cunha there, but how effective is that against, you know, the bigger teams? Maybe that's only a game by game basis that you would do that, but I definitely think that Xerxes should play. I think now is the time you try and bed him into that first 11, because in the season we're gonna get injuries, we're gonna have AFCON coming up. So now's the time. It's now or never, really. Next game will be really telling.
Yeah. Did you know this says you will use these stats all the way until we get 3 straight losses and a win, and you will just focus on the win? I don't even know what that means. Again, hypothetical FC. We're now getting into territory where we're waiting on 3 losses to happen and this, that, and the other. We just got to focus on what's happening, and this batch of games. This start to the season has been such an eye opener, I think, for me, in the sense of look where it's at. Like it's we've gone with we're like a couple of games away from Frank getting a haircut. Now to this, we're not going to win. Now we're not going to win a game again. This is why it's not going to work out. Benjamin Šeško's a massive flop, and he's faking an injury and this, that, and the other. Like, I get it. It's like, it's frustrating, really frustrating, particularly given the recent history with Spurs and given the fact this Spurs team is poor. We're also not a great team either. you know, we're not.
Yeah.
So, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next game, I think, with Amorim as well, because we saw after the Brighton game when he made those subs, In the next game against Forest, he was really reluctant to make the subs. So maybe, maybe in the next one he was not going to make the 5. Maybe that's what it's going to be. Maybe he's not going to make the 5. I don't know. Super chat here from Terence Pace says, for us 2-2s go, not the best of game from both teams, but better 1 point than no points at all. Should have kept Cunha on, in my opinion, but happy with the draw. You got to be careful. Got to be careful. Terence can't be happy with the draw. You know what I mean? Can't be happy with that. So yes, how many likes did we end up at? Let's have a look. We are at over 1,100 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe to United View if you haven't already. DJ, I will let you go now. You can go and enjoy your weekend. At least.
Big up to everyone in the community.
We're still undefeated, DJ. Look, we're still undefeated on the match views. You know what I mean? We still haven't lost the game.
Actually. Yeah, we are actually.
Exactly. So, yeah, positivity. Yeah, positivity. Cool.